Hey guys, this is Ashley from the South Houston Library, and today I'm going to show you some Microsoft Excel intermediate skills. Make sure that you check out my last video, Microsoft Excel Basics, to catch up. On the last video, I focused on the home ribbon, and we did many things here in the groups. But one thing I wanted to show you was the filter, and I don't believe I did it last time. And so first you select the column which you would like to filter out some information. And so I'm going to select column B. And if you click right where it says B, it'll select the entire column. And then I'm going to go to sort and filter and click on filter. And now I have this little arrow and I can click on it and I can uncheck select all and just click on, let's say I just want to see Amanda. I can just see how many cookies, the information for Amanda, or let's say I want Amanda, Jessica, and Joe. You can select those and just look at their information. So filter is really useful whenever you want to filter out certain data, and so you can look at it easier. The next thing we're going to do is, last time I showed you how to use the Autosum function. And so here on the home under the editing group, there's an Autosum function. And if I click on Autosum, it'll automatically think that I'm trying to add all of these numbers together. And like I said, you can select what you would like to add, but let's say you didn't want to add everything on there. You can always use the control button and you hold on to it. So let's say I want to add these two. I use the control button, I hold it, and then I select the other ones that I would like to add, and it'll show them here. So let's say I didn't want to add F5 and F7, it'll not select those. So you're going to use the control button for that. If you don't like using the control button, you can also use here in the formula tab, you can do the ranges. So F3 colon F4 comma, you can do F6 comma F6, and then comma, if you wanted to, you could do F8 colon F10. Okay, but in this case, I would like to add all of them, so I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to click Autosum, and then add all of these. Oops. Enter. And then I'm going to do the tax for this one, so equal sign F12 times 0.0825, and that will give me $7.50. And those, what we use so far is simple formulas where you just multiply or add or subtract two numbers. But let's say you were doing complex formulas, so you were adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing in the same equation. What Excel follows is something called Pemdas. So first it will do parentheses, then it will do exponents, then it will do multiplication, then it will do division, then it will do addition, and then subtraction last. So let me show you an example. So let's say that whatever money we made from the bake sale is going to be divided equally between 3 different clubs. So whenever you do a formula, you always need to start with an equal sign. And so in parentheses, I'm going to put the bake sale, how much we sold in bake sale, and then subtract out what we will have to give in taxes. And then the parentheses will be done first, and then whatever we get from that, it will be divided by 3 between the 3 clubs. And if I put equal, as you can see, it'll tell me how much each club will get. So those are complex formulas. And if you wanted to have here, it shows you 2 decimal points. If you wanted less decimal points, you can use this button in the number group. Or if you wanted to increase the decimal points, you can do that too using this button on the number group. I just want 2 decimal points, so I'm going to leave it like that. And so sometimes you're going to use this formulas tab for more formulas. So far we've done like Autosum Function, average, and all that. These are really common formulas found in the home group. But sometimes you will need more formulas than those, and there's a formulas tab just for that. And here you can see formulas are divided into different groups. If you ever have a formula that you need and that is not on here, but you're not sure what it's called, you can always use this insert function. This window pops up and you can, where it says type a brief description of what you want to do and then click go, you can type a brief description of the formula you would like. And then once you click go, it'll search for that, for the formula for that one. I search slope, and once I click OK, the formula will go wherever my active cell is. So let's say you wanted to create a formula based on a condition, you would use the if function for that. So for example, let's say all these students, they sold cookies for a bake sale, and in order for them to get a level 1 prize, they would have had to sold more than 6 cookies. So I'm going to use an if statement for that. So first, whenever you use formulas, you start with an equal sign, and then I'm going to write if parentheses. And so the first thing that you're going to write is the test. So what is Excel going to test for? So it's going to test for whether the quantity D3 of cookies is greater than 6. Then I'm going to put a column. So after the comma, what do you want Excel to do if the test is true? So if the test is true, I would like it to write candy in the cell. Comma, what do you want Excel to do if the condition is false? And I would like it to do nothing, so I'm going to put double quotation marks, and then I'm going to close the parentheses, and then click enter. And so now I'm going to use the autofill handle for the rest of the students. And as you can see, it told me which students will get the level 1 prize at candy. Another way that you can use if functions, you can test more than one thing. So equal sign if, comma, and. So you're going to use and when you're testing more than one thing. So let's say for the level true prize, they must have sold more than 10 cookies and more than $11 worth of cookies. So let's do parentheses, D3 must be greater than 10, comma, F3 must be greater than 11. So these are the two things that it will test. And now I'm going to close the parentheses. So, comma, what do you want Excel to do if the value is true, if the two conditions are met? I wanted to write headphones, okay, because that's a prize. And comma, what would you like to do if the value is false? What would you like Excel to do? And I don't want it to do anything. And then, of course, I have to close my parentheses. And then I'm going to click enter. And as you can see, it goes a little bit further than the column. So I'm going to double click in between it so I can make it large enough. And then I'm going to use the autofill handle for the rest of the students. And the next one, we're going to do a nested if statement. And this is whenever you have an if inside of an if. And so let's start with equal sign if parentheses. So let's say that there's different conditions for the amount of tickets they will get for a raffle ticket for different things. So let's say if they sold less than 10 cookies, they will get one raffle ticket. So the test is going to be if the amount of cookies they sold is less than 10, I would like it to write one ticket, comma. And now if the condition is false, so if they sold more than 10 cookies, and I want to do another if statement. So this is a nested if. So another if statement. So if this is false, I would like it to test is D3 greater than or equal to 10. If this is true, I would like it to write 2 tickets, comma, if this is false, I wouldn't want them to write anything. And so now I have 2 parentheses to close, and now I hit enter. And now I'm going to use the autofill handle for the rest of the students. Okay, so that's a nested if statement. So that's an if inside an if. Another formula that's used a lot in Excel is the VLookup, and this is whenever you want to look up or retrieve data from a specific column. And so I know that here I don't have much data, so probably a VLookup is not something I would be using, but I just wanted to show you how to use it. So first we're going to start with =, VLookup. Okay. And then parentheses, and I can continue writing it in here just to not get confused. So I want to find out how many snickerdoodles cookies were sold. So after you write VLookup, parentheses, the first value is going to be what you're going to look up. So I'm going to click on C8 because I'm going to be looking up snickerdoodle, and I need to correct that. Okay, comma, the table array. So this is a range of tables that you would like this value to be looked for in. So I would say this would be a good range. Okay, comma. And then you're going to write the column. So from this table array, this is column 1 and then this is column 2. And so I'm going to write 2 because the value I would like to be sent back to me is from column 2. And then comma, and if you want an approximate match, you can type in true here, or if you want an exact match, you can type in false. In my case, I would like an exact match. So I'm going to type in false, and then I will close that parentheses and hit enter, and now it gave me back how many snickerdoodle cookies we sold. And I'm going to write this. Okay. And so that's a VLookup function. And I know that I don't have a lot of information here, so it's easy for me to see how many we have. But you can imagine if you had a lot of data, many rows full of data, this VLookup would be very useful to you. And so another important thing on Microsoft Excel are pivot tables, and they're very useful when you need to summarize your data very easily. Or if you need to create a report of some sort, it's really easy to use. And it does everything very quickly. It does everything for you, basically. And so first you go to the Insert tab, and then you click on Pivot Table, and then the little window pops up and it asks for a range. And so whenever you're making pivot tables on Excel, make sure that your columns are labeled. So for example, here I have labeled purchase date, salesperson, product name, quantity. You need to make sure that your columns are labeled because this will be very useful to you when you use your pivot table. So I'm going to be using this information for my pivot table. I don't need that. Okay, so you select the range that you would like to use for your pivot table, and then you choose whether you would like it to go on a new worksheet or on an existing worksheet. And in my case, I would like it to go on a new worksheet. So it went on sheet 2, and then pivot table fields comes up on the right hand side, and fields just means columns. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put salesperson under rows. Okay, and then I'm going quantity under values. And as you can see, my data was very confusing over here. So it had everybody like, even if Jessica, she sold at different dates, it had it all scattered. But what the pivot table does is that it summarizes that for you very easily. So as you can see, it did all the names of the students and then how many they sold. Okay, so how many cookies they sold very easily. And then there's also another section for columns. And so let's say I wanted to add the name of the products under columns. As you can see, the product name, so the name of the cookies, go along the columns. And so you can organize your pivot table however you would like to organize your data. And I'm going to change this. So I'm going to leave salespersons under rows, and then I'm going to put the total price under values. And so as you can see here, it summarized my data. So it has the name of the salespeople and how much total they sold. So another cool thing about pivot tables is that you can analyze your data very easily. So if you go here to the Analyze tab, you can do pivot charts. And so the pivot charts, it shows your data really nicely. And here you have a list of different pivot charts to choose from. I'm going to choose a bar chart and click OK. And so this is by bar chart. And as you can see, it has the different salespeople and how many cookies they sold, how much they made, basically, from the bake sale. And then you have this chart elements button. It's like a little plus sign on the corner. And this is going to be very useful for you because you can quickly add different elements to it. For example, I would like to add some titles to make my chart easier to read. So here I'm going to write cookies sold. Okay, and here I write salesperson. And you can play with this and see what you would like to add to your pivot chart. I would like to change my title to bake sale. And then I'm going to add some labels to make it easier to read. So now I know how much each student sold and I can compare them, see who sold the most, who sold the least very easily. You can look through these different chart elements and see if you would like to use them. You can also filter out some data. So if you click on this little arrow and uncheck select all, you can see only for Amanda. Let's say you only want to see Amanda, the top two, Joe and Amanda. And then you click OK. As you can see here, just Joe and Amanda are there. And let me go back so I can see everybody. And click OK. And you can change the design of your charts. If you click on the tab here called Design, you can change the colors. Ooh, I guess I'll do green. And you can change different elements of it. You can switch the rows and columns. You can change the chart date, chart type. You can change the background. Okay. And so you can play with it, see what you like. And so these are some intermediate skills. Comment down below if you have any questions or let me know anything else that you would like to learn on Excel. Thank you.